The 1940s, a time of real upheaval, the world at war, and even the dream factory of Hollywood found itself reflecting the anxieties and the spirit of the nation. Right there in the thick of it was Carole Lombard. Not just a movie star, mind you, but a real force of nature. Dazzling on screen, quick-witted as they come, and just plain captivating. She was a symbol, you know, of that vibrant American energy, and the absolute sweetheart of Clark Gable, the man they called the King of Hollywood. Theirs was a real golden couple story. But out in the stark, unforgiving landscape of Nevada, a tragedy was brewing, a real head-scratcher of an event that would send shockwaves across the country and cast a long, somber shadow over that glittering era of Hollywood. This, folks, is the deeper dive into the story of the Vanishing blonde. Carole Lombard had just wrapped up a truly remarkable war bond tour. She poured her heart and soul into it, crisscrossing the country, tirelessly rallying support, and raising some serious coin for the war effort. Her final stop was back in her home state of Indiana, a place that always held a special spot in her heart. And after all that hard work, she was just longing to get back to her fella, back to Clark in Los Angeles. So, on the evening of January 16, 1942, she boarded a transcontinental and Western Air Flight 3, a Douglas DC-3, a pretty common workhorse of the skies back then, With her were her beloved mother, Bess Peters, and Gable's trusted press agent, Otto Winkler, part of their inner circle. The flight took off from Indianapolis, made a stop in St. Louis, and then another in Albuquerque, before heading towards the bright lights of Las Vegas for a refueling stop. But after leaving Vegas, heading west towards California, the weather started to turn nasty pretty quick. Reports came in of heavy fog and turbulent conditions over the mountainous terrain. And then, silence. The aircraft, carrying 22 souls, a mix of passengers and crew, inexplicably veered significantly off its intended course and, with devastating force, slammed into Table Rock Mountain on Potosi Mountain, about 32 miles southwest of Las Vegas. In that instant, all 22 lives were tragically lost. There were no survivors. The news hit the nation like a punch to the gut, Carole Lombard, this radiant, vibrant star, extinguished in the blink of an eye. Clark Gable was utterly heartbroken, his grief a raw and palpable thing that resonated deeply with a country already grappling with the anxieties of war. The outpouring of sorrow was immense. But amidst the collective grief, questions, like persistent little burrs, began to surface. How could a seasoned flight crew, on what should have been a relatively routine hop, have met such a catastrophic end in seemingly clear airspace just moments before? The immediate aftermath was a blur of shock and mourning, followed by the grim and painstaking task of recovering the bodies from the rugged mountainside. The Civil Aeronautics Board launched a full investigation, their aim to piece together the puzzle of what went so terribly wrong. The initial findings, the official narrative that took hold, pointed to a confluence of factors: pilot error, a misjudgment of altitude in challenging weather conditions, and the unforgiving nature of the mountainous terrain. They suggested the pilots might have misread their instruments or become disoriented in the darkness and fog. Narrator, but, as that compelling Vanity Fair article meticulously lays out, the official explanation, while seemingly straightforward, left a lot of folks with a nagging sense of unease. Witnesses on the ground reported seeing the plane flying at an unusually low altitude and in a direction that didn't quite line up with the expected flight path. And in the days and weeks that followed, theories, some more plausible than others, began to circulate like whispers in the wind. Could there have been a mechanical failure that wasn't fully accounted for? Was there a crucial navigational error that led them so far off course? And in a nation on edge, with the threat of war looming large, the unsettling possibility of sabotage, however unlikely, even entered the conversation. The Vanity Fair piece really delves into the intricacies of the investigation, highlighting the limitations of the aviation technology of the time. Things we take for granted today were still pretty rudimentary back then. It also touches on the immense pressure to provide a swift and definitive explanation during a period of national crisis, when morale was already fragile. The article explores the human element, the potential for misjudgment under pressure, the inherent risks of early air travel, and the enduring, unsettling mystery of why this particular flight, carrying such a beloved figure, met such a violent and inexplicable end. It raises questions about the thoroughness of the investigation and whether all stones were truly left unturned. Decades have passed since that fateful night on Potosi Mountain, The wreckage has long since been cleared, the official reports filed away. And while the explanation of pilot error and challenging conditions remains the generally accepted account, the questions surrounding the final flight of Carole Lombard continue to linger in the collective memory. Was it simply a tragic accident, a heartbreaking confluence of unfortunate circumstances? Or were there other, more complex, perhaps even undiscovered factors at play in the sudden and irreversible vanishing of this luminous star, a woman who brought so much joy to a world teetering on the brink? The story of Carole Lombard serves as a poignant and enduring reminder of the fragility of life, even for those who seem to shine brightest. And sometimes, despite our best efforts to understand, some questions remain unanswered, forever etched in the sometimes shadowed annals of Hollywood history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life and legacy of Carole Lombard. If you found her story as captivating as we do, please consider subscribing to our channel for more fascinating tales from Hollywood's past. Your support helps us bring more amazing content to you and keeps the memory of these iconic figures alive. Don't forget to share this video with friends who love classic cinema.